And all new at 5, a major organized crime bust. 23 people under arrest now accused of stealing guns and cash.
Today, police revealed 4 organized crime groups are wreaking havoc.
From aggravated robbery to kidnapping, burglary, and more. Let's take a look at this. New pictures from court documents in this case. These are a few of the people who have been charged, and investigators say the money, tens of thousands of dollars, is all stolen.
FBI, open up!
Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today we're going to talk about Michael Thompson getting convicted of fraud. Allegedly, he was stealing money from the unemployment and around the time of the pandemic, and it caught up with him. If you guys don't know who Michael Thompson is, he's a former Aryan Brotherhood member who ended up cooperating and turned informant. Yes, he turned into a rat. So it looks like he's going back to prison. It's not going to be a good time for Michael Thompson. He is going to have a rough time in there. This is Michael Thompson. I'm not sure exactly which one he is here. I think he's on the bottom right. But he is a former member of the Aryan Brotherhood. And it says, ex-Aryan Brotherhood member turned life coach found guilty in California of EED fraud and perjury. A reputed member of the notorious Aryan Brotherhood prison gang who gained fame for turning his back on the group and embracing a nonviolence was found guilty on Tuesday in Lake Superior Court on perjury and fraud for lying on government loan applications and illegally collecting unemployment benefits. Michael Leanne Thompson, who was featured on several documentaries and a podcast, represented himself in a bench trial before Judge David Markham. He served 45 years in California prison after being convicted of 2 murders and was paroled by Governor Gavin Newsom in 2019. Looking dapper in his beige corduroy blazer and carrying a carved walking stick, Thompson, who is 69 at the time of his 2021 arrest, so that would make him what? 71 now. Blamed the false statements and unemployment theft on his co-defendant. How ironic. How ironic for a cooperator to blame all of the charges on his co-defendant. Hey, that works, right? So, are you surprised? So they blamed him on his co-defendant, Eric Abner Hitchkins, who pleaded guilty in September and was sent to Northern Kern Prison to begin serving an 8-year sentence. Thompson also said the handwritten note and signature on the documents and notes pertaining to the fraudulent application were not his, even though he admitted that there were similarities in his own handwriting. In closing arguments Tuesday, Lake County Deputy District Attorney told the court that Thompson's claim that he had been Hutchins' victim and not a co-conspirator. So he went to trial too. So this is not going to go well for him. Okay. He said the handwritten note and signature used for the application were indeed Thompson's, proving that he was involved in fraud. Markham said his verdict that he agreed that the handwriting was Thompson's. When the two were arrested in 2001, prosecutors said that they had stolen nearly $400,000 in unemployment benefits. But after 2 of the fraud counts were dismissed by Markham, the total was closer to just over 100,000. Thompson had been featured on documentary on the Aryan Brotherhood while still in prison. After his parole, quickly restarted his life as a prominent ex-con, life coaching and drug counselor. He called himself a square and presented himself as a symbol of redemption after 45 years behind the iron gates. But prosecutors said that he and Hutchins, whom he met in prison, quickly teamed up to apply for unemployment benefits, mostly by using the personal information of homeless and transient individuals whom they were supposed to be helping throughout the nonprofit. They were supposed to receive a portion of the proceeds as a fee, but in the end, they kept most of it, or if not all the benefits. So that's pretty low to do. They were going around finding homeless people to apply for these PPE loans and get unemployment benefits, and they would keep them all for themselves. Insane. Thompson was also accused of lying about his parole status to apply for 2 loans from a federal small business administration and for fraudulently applying for unemployment for himself. It was the largest such scheme in Lake County, prosecutors said, part of a wave of fraud that hit California unemployment department during the COVID pandemic. California lost an estimated $20 billion in pandemic-era unemployment aid to fraudsters. Most of that money came from now ended federally funded pandemic unemployment assistance program created just after the pandemic triggered an economic shutdown in March of 2020. The department says it has recovered about $6 billion in fraudulently obtained benefits and was still working to claw back the additional funds. Thompson, who was out on bail, he's due back to court on January 14th to be sentenced by Markham. So he got a trial by judge. He didn't go in there and say, I want to be judged by my peers, like a bunch of jurors. He got a bench trial, which is the judge decides if you're guilty or not. At the courthouse on Tuesday with his wife and a friend, he told the Sacramento Bee that he would prefer not to return to prison, but he is not afraid of it. If that's what it is, then you have to go with it. I don't think you have a choice there, Michael Thompson. Thompson was initially sent to prison in 1970 for the murder of 2 men in Orange County. He said he joined the Aryan Brotherhood in 1977 and claimed to be the highest ranking member of the gang to have left. He has denied responsibility for the Orange County slayings, that was paroled after cooperating with authorities, including one case where he spirited into the courthouse in a hollowed out vending machine. So they wheeled him into the courthouse in a hollowed out vending machine. That's pretty low for him to do that and go out and rob homeless men for their unemployment benefits. Like, how are you going to do that? That's almost as low as it gets. Like, that's pretty damn low. And I think he's going to have a Huge problem once he goes to prison. It's not going to be all Candyland, shoots and ladders for this guy. Even if he goes to the dropout yard, he's going to be with people who don't want to be around people like him. Because the bottom line is he's a cooperator. And people in prison don't like cooperators. I mean, there are a lot of people who do, I guess. Look at Sammy Gravano's following. He has a cult following damn near. It's crazy the amount of people who follow Sammy Gravano and like love that guy. It's insane. But I'll tell you this, I don't respect any of you. So I got another case I want to talk about. Let me give a couple shout outs real quick. Lindsay, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Tyler, what's going on? Frank S., good afternoon. Maureen, how are you? KP, what's going on? We got a good show for you guys tomorrow. Check this out. Junior said he's not doing the interview, Sammy. Oh, man. You don't want to miss that one. That one's tomorrow morning. And so here's another case I wanted to talk about. We all remember the guy who was in front of the judge and he freaked out and he rushes the judge, jumps over the bench, tries to grab the judge. You remember that one? This guy. That's him on the right flying through the air. And that right there is the judge right underneath him. He said, hell no. So this man is in a whole world of shit. Let's get down to it. The man who jumped onto the judge, sentenced to a minimum of 26 years. A judge has ruled on the attack of another Las Vegas judge earlier this year and sentenced the defendant to a minimum of 26 years in prison. In January, 31-year-old Diabra, weird names, we'll call him D. D was recorded leaping onto the Clark County District Court Judge Mary Kay Hutham's in footage that went viral online. At the time, Reddins, we'll call him Reddins, Mr. Reddins, was serving time for a separate felony battery case, which the judge sentenced him after jumping into Thalvis. I can't even say that name. After jumping into the judge, attack continued for some time. Court officials tried to subdue Reddin. Although suffering some injuries, the judge was not hospitalized. Following the testimony of the judge and her judicial assistant, Reddin entered a guilty but mentally ill plea at his September attempted murder trial. Wow, they charged him with attempted murder. You believe that? So he entered a guilty plea and he still got 26 years. That is insane. On Tuesday, December 10th, prosecutors requested significant prison time from District Judge Susan Johnson, while Reddin's attorney asked for concurrent sentence of 4 to 11 years. In declining to sentence Reddin concurrently, Johnson instead gave him a prison sentence of 26 to 65 years. Holy shit. Calling Reddin's actions an attack on the judiciary. That was insane. Like, you're going to leap over it at the judge? Holy shit. Every time I've been to court, they shackle your feet. So, what do? Tiptoe over there? Like, and then spring launched over the bench. He said, "I'm not a bad person. I'm not an evil guy," Reddit said during the sentencing. "I'm not making excuses for my actions, but I'm saying I'm not a bad person. And I know that I did not intend to kill Mary Hawkins. I did not intend to kill the judge. I know I cared about her well-being." Yeah, sure looks like it. Although the judge opted not to speak during the sentencing, prosecutors read a statement from her in which she insisted that Redden tried to kill her. "He made a conscious decision to kill me and made every effort to succeed," the statement read. Wow. So they were putting that he was trying to kill her on pretty thick. They wanted him to go to prison for quite a long time. "Hey, Larry Levine, how are you? I'm not a bad guy either," he says. Shout out to Larry Levine. Go check out his book. He's got a new book out. Let me get the link for you guys. Where the hell's the link for your book, Larry? Go check out my interview with Larry Levine. It's pretty good. He is on a lot of the news stations. You've probably seen him before. He's a well-known face. Let's see if I can find his damn book. He has the Wall Street Prison Consultants, Federal Prison Reductions. He does a lot of work in the prison community, you would say. Great guy. Let me see if I can find the link for his book. Where's the? Oh, there's the link. Amazon. I can't click on it here. Let's see if I do this. We're gonna be doing some shows soon. He doesn't know it, but where are you watching from? The other show, Larry? Or are you watching from Facebook, huh? Yeah, you are. Here you are. I got it. All right. Crimes that never happened. Beating federal conspiracies. Go to Amazon. Here, I'm going to drop the link in the chat. Hey, Larry, do you think that Haktua girl is going to go to prison for that crypto scheme? I want to know what you think about that, because people are saying she's going to go to prison. How long was he in population? Which guy are you talking about? Cue Ball, what's going on? Neens, how are you? Maureen, Lindsay, Baywatcher, what's good? How are you? Shout out to everybody. It's Thursday. KP, what's going on? I love the content. Shout out to you, KP. Thank you. I got a lot of content dropping. I'm going to keep bringing it to you guys. The interviews never stop. I'm going to keep bringing more and more. Yes, too much money involved. Yo, Breeze, what's going on? Shout out to Breeze. Go check out our interview. People loved Breeze's interview. He's one of the most watched interviews I've done so far. I think it was 10,000 views on like the second day. Crazy. So there's another show that I got I'm working on, and it's this. Grandpa's Mafia ties revealed. If you guys didn't know, the CEO assassin, his grandfather has Mafia ties. We're going to break that down on an up-and-coming episode. And if you guys don't know, that's not the guy. They got the wrong guy. I broke it down on the show the other day on why they have the wrong guy. It's 100% not the guy. And there's more information I'm going to reveal on the up-and-coming show on why he's not the guy. There's a lot of different reasons. So this is the shooter. You see his brow in between his eyes? See his backpack? Gray straps, right? See his jacket has no pockets on the front. You see that? No pockets. Now look at this. He magically got pockets. And the straps turn black. How does that happen? It's not the same guy. That's how it happened. And now they're trying to keep the reward money because they said the guy in McDonald's did not call the hotline. So they're not trying to give him the reward money, the $50,000. Crazy. They are definitely going to lose that case. 100%. What are your thoughts on the assassination case, Larry Levine? Do you think that guy's going to get convicted? This is Larry Levine. He's on Court TV quite a bit. Fox Nation. Big things, Larry. That's a normal Tuesday for Larry, though. He should have went to Burger King. Burger King don't snitch. Hell yeah. He should have been eating at Burger King, man. He'd still be out there. Listen, people are cheering this guy on. They are willing to pay his attorney fees. I guess the law firm which he hired, they are getting flooded with calls of people willing to pay this kid's attorney fees. He is like one of the most popular people in the country right at this moment. Another major thing that's going on is all these drones. What do you guys think about all the drones in New Jersey? They are everywhere. It's crazy. The drones are insane. I thought I had some pictures of the drones. I don't know where they went. And don't forget, tonight is your favorite guy. The interview's dropping tonight, part 1. Ramundi is dropping tonight. And he talks a lot about Mac, his cousin Mac. Talks about a lot of other things. If you guys don't know who Mac is, he was Carmine Persico's bodyguard. That's Mac. Carmine Persico's in the front. Mac is in the back. This is an old picture of Mac. That's Mac with the white jacket on to the left with the ugly chick. I have no clue who that ugly chick is. She is terribly ugly. She got hit with every ugly branch. She must have fell off the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down. And that's Mac right there with the arrows pointing at him. He is one of the most infamous bodyguards in the Colombo crime family. He was watching Chattin with Staxx from 6 p.m. to midnight. Could it possibly be him? No. Make sure you check out Luciano's book when the bullet hits the bone. Michael Thompson, I'm not fighting him. I ain't fighting nobody, man. I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover. I just saw they arrested a Chinese citizen for operating a drone. Yeah, they arrested a guy out in California for operating a drone. Oh, we got a donation. Thank you. I appreciate that. Chattin with Staxx. First live for a while I've caught. Salute to you and the chat from Scotland. Why you sitting in the dark? It's not dark in here, man. What do you mean? It's pretty light in here. I got more lights, but I can see fine. Thank you for the donation. I don't know what they have out there in Scotland. What do they have, shillings or something? Baywatcher, what's going on, man? If you guys don't know, there was a interview with what's his name? Gotti Jr. And it's making its rounds, and we're gonna go over it tomorrow. Tomorrow. I'm gonna make a video, and we're gonna check it out tomorrow. We could check out a little clip right here, though. I got one from yesterday.
Sonny being the gangster that he is, and he was a true blue hoodlum. Good guy, hoodlum.
Good guy, hoodlum. Let me insult him in the same phrase, right? Listen, that 302 situation is eating Junior up. You can tell. He was trying everything in the world to explain it away. He said that he sent for people, and he let them know what he was gonna do. The bottom line is, he wouldn't have done that if his dad was around. People look at him as a rat. There's nothing he can do to change it, except the things you cannot change and move on, right?
Giving support because you can't leave the life.
Would you blame him for doing that, though? Do you blame him? But one thing he said that is 100% not true is that he was a civilian when he did that move. No, he wasn't. He was 100% in the life. He was not a civilian when he went in there and talked to them cops. 100%. He was not a civilian. He says it right here in this little clip. He says he was a civilian. No, you weren't.
But the truth of the matter is, okay, and Michael Francis was going to answer a subpoena. See, Michael, to his credit, Michael Francis, we subpoenaed him. He was going to come to our trial and testify that you can leave the life.
He was going to testify at a lot of trials. Junior, what do you mean? I got proof. He was going to testify at quite a bit of trials. He was probably going to testify against you. You just don't know it. These people give these people too much credit. I'm telling you. Let me see. Oh, yeah.
Say precisely where he lives, that we not show his house or his cars.
All right, you tell me this. When you listen to this, tell me what they're saying, because painfully obvious.
You help the government. Don't they want to kill you for that?
There are people, some of my former associates, that are not happy with what I did because I'm not, acting in accordance with the oath, that they would like to see me deceased.
Interesting way to put it.
Because he cooperated. Right?
That we not say precisely where he lives, that we not show his house or his cars.
You help the government. Don't they want to kill you for that?
There are people, some of my former associates, that are not happy with what I did because I'm not,
government.
Acting in accordance with the oath, that they would like to see me deceased.
Interesting way to put it. You don't look over your shoulder?
Well, let me put it this way. I mean, I am very much aware of what's going on around me, and I, again, was very much a part of a life, and I know what people are capable of.
Why did you leave the Mafia?
I didn't want that for my wife and kids. I wanted a different life.
Well, there's no question that he's in a great deal of danger.
Ed McDonald was a federal prosecutor in Brooklyn.
All right, so listen to what the federal prosecutor says.
And why he's doing what he's doing is beyond me. I think he has to be crazy.
He's under a death sentence. They're going to come after him eventually. And it's just only a matter of time.
His name is Derry Matera. Is he a bodyguard? A federal agent? Nope, he's an author, writing the Michael Franzese story. After all, Franzese is articulate, stylish, you might say a young Michael Corleone type, straight out of The Godfather.
I think it was Life magazine that called you the yuppie mobster.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. How much money did you make? About?
Millions of dollars. I mean, I don't know exactly how much. I mean, there's no secret, the fact that I made a tremendous amount of money.
And just how powerful was Michael Franzese?
Michael, as far as New York is concerned, is probably the most significant organized crime figure to cooperate with the federal government.
And just...
Wait, what? Nah, he's the most significant organized crime figure to cooperate with the government. That was straight out of the prosecutor's mouth. Like, there ain't no getting around that one.
The fact that I made a tremendous amount of money.
And just how powerful was Michael Franzese?
Michael, as far as New York is concerned, is probably the most significant organized crime figure to cooperate with the federal government.
And just how violent was he?
Did you kill anybody?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he did. We got proof of that. He liked the liar, found the 302s. Junior then changed his tune, said it was a plan. Hey, he's a rat too. A liar's the huge rat. These guys all just go like this, pointing fingers everywhere, you know? It's like, what's his name? Areola. Huge rat. Has people kill people and then tells on them all. Crazy. Now he's doing book signings and shit. Insane. Hey, if he's comfortable out there, go to Brooklyn, go to the Bronx and do a book signing. I'm sure they love to have you.
To be inducted into the Mafia, you have to make your bones. And to make your bones, you have to kill somebody. So we've all accepted that he's a made man in the Mafia. So that goes without saying.
It may go without saying, but I want to make sure I understand you. You're saying you believe Michael Franzese has killed at least once?
Yes, and probably more. He did what he had to do.
And what if he said, I never killed anybody. I never killed anybody. I never ordered the killing of anybody.
Well, that's what would you expect?
What would you expect? They're going at it.
Okay, if John wants to leave the life, he could leave the life, but he leaves the life fully knowing what the ramifications of his actions are. It's his choice. He could leave, and they could act if they want to act as upon him leaving.
Makes sense.
And Michael was clear to do this. The FBI went to Michael Franzese. They told him, we're going to do a case against you. We're going to investigate you. Don't go help that kid out. He's our public enemy number one.
He probably was going to go testify against Junior, and he don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? But Michael was down in Florida, got a 10-year sentence. Guess what? He didn't do the 10 years. He got out. And he helped with the prosecution of a bunch of people in Chicago. He doesn't talk about that one, does he? Definitely not.
Michael still sent word, to his credit, sent word to Charlie Canisi, if you need me, I'm coming. And that's why I respected him. He took that position. He's a stand-up guy in that respect. He took that position, and I admire that, okay? They didn't intimidate him, okay? That being said...
How come you didn't go on his show then?
They knew all these particulars. They knew Sonny Francis got caught on wiretap. They were looking to kill me. And his response back is basically that this can get messy because there's a lot of...
Did you hear what he just said? They had a wiretap that Sonny Francis was going to kill Jr.
Said they knew all these particulars. They knew Sonny Francis got caught on wiretap. They were looking to kill me. And his response back is basically that this can get messy because there's a lot of guys loyal to me. A lot of guys loyal to the Gottis. This can trigger a war. Did the FBI give a shit? No, they didn't care. So this is what they did. This is what they did. They made it worse. They one-upped it. They asked me to become a rat, and I refused, so they one-upped it. They put, a short time later, after giving me this death threat, they put on the front page of the New York Post that I'm a rat, that I wanted to be a rat. So they tried to get me killed. So you couldn't convict me. And this all happened after I beat them the first case. They played fair the first trial. The second trial, now the gloves came off, and they got dirtier and dirtier and dirtier. And this is what they did. They couldn't convict me. They couldn't flip me, so they tried to get me killed. But most of the people that mattered never believed it, and still today don't believe it. The ones who are insignificant do believe it.
Listen, it's like half of America. They all believe that he cooperated. What do you think? I want to know what you think. Do you think Junior is a rat? A lot of people do think that. I mean, it's kind of hard to deny it. You went in there and cooperated with the government, whether you lied to him or not. He did cooperate. So, I mean, you could spin it any way you want. He cooperated. I mean, they have different kind of rats. You know, the kind that wear wires on people, the kind that flip like Sammy Gravano did. And then they have people who walk into their office and cooperate with them. There's all kinds of different ones. But what do you think? Do you think Gotti Jr. is a rat? Anthony says no. If not a rat, you usually do your time and no special treatment. Usually. You're a rat if you take down others to get yourself out of trouble. I mean, there's different kinds of rats, I think. But I think if you're involved with that life, you can't go sit with the government, whether you're going to lie to them or not. You take an oath to be in that life. Then he tries to say he was a civilian at the time, which is not true. Total bullshit. He was not a civilian at the time. Maybe he wanted to get shelved or he wanted to not be involved with anything anymore, but he was not a civilian at the time. He was 100% in that life.
That being said, they tried so hard. This was the report that they said was a rat report, okay? Not a human being got hurt. Not one ever got a subpoena. Not one ever got a case, ever. In fact, so much so, to double back and not to be all over the place because we have a limited amount of time to talk.
No one went to jail because of your 40-minute meeting.
Never.
With the feds.
Never. I would have taken 100 years. I would have taken life. I was a civilian, and I would have taken life before that ever happened.
He was not a civilian. Right there, he lied. Right there is a blatant lie. He was not a civilian at the time. He was not.
No one went to jail because of your 40-minute meeting.
Never. With
the feds.
Never. I would have taken 100 years. I would have taken life. I was a civilian, and I would have taken life before that ever happened, before I ever embarrassed my dead father or my sons. Never would happen. Here's what happened. This is the reality. Okay?
And listen, he says he sends word to all these other people that are involved in that life, right? If you're a civilian, why are you sending word to all these people?
This was the report right here. And you got to read this report. I'm going to read it to you, okay?
Hey,
this is part of a 4-page report.
I really appreciate that.
That the government leaked out. Again,
And
this
Aretha?
report, this interview happened in 2005. 13 months later, I talked to you right now for 40 minutes. I asked for a recorder to be in that room.
Henrietta?
They refused. I came with my own notes.
Henrietta.
Who does that? I came with notes to the meeting.
Thank
my
you. I
lawyers
really
verified.
appreciate the
I came with my
donation.
own notes. So I talked.
If you guys don't know, we're doing a toy drive where we buy toys for the kids at the homeless shelter. And if you want to donate to that, you can hit up the Cash App at Chattin with Staxx. Chattin with Staxx show, I think it is. No, it's just Chattin with Staxx. You can hit up Venmo, PayPal, Super Sticker, Super Chat, Zelle, or you can donate through the YouTube channel. And I'm going to take that money and we're going to make the kids have a special Christmas this year. So I appreciate it. It's definitely going to go to a good cause.
About what I wanted to talk about, and so they wouldn't put their own spin on what I wanted to talk about, I asked for a recorder. They didn't.
Borello is the biggest loser out there. He wasn't even close to being a made guy or anything. That guy is one of the biggest clowns in the Mafia realm. The Mafia. He was the door kicker in the Mafia. That's what he was, right? He was the door kicker.
But I'm gonna fix it. I did this to the door. You, but I'm gonna fix it. I pushed the door in. I pushed the door in. I pushed the door in.
He did that to the door.
Because it's not part of policy. In fact, the only U.S. attorney to ever institute a policy where you're allowed to have a recorder when a 302.
I did this to the door. I pushed the door in. I did this to the door. I pushed the door in.
In this Airbnb, right?
Yes, I pushed the door.
And whose card is on file here?
Yours. But I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix the door for you.
So if I get charged for this,
you're not being charged.
I'm suing you. I'm taking you to court.
I'm fixing it.
He's fixing you. Don't worry. He's fixing you. He's gonna fix you. If these guys are the people that are involved in the Mafia, wow. The world's got problems.
Fired him for doing that because they don't want recorders in there. They want to be able to basically script a story that they could have a witness follow along to. Okay, so they don't want to have it made solid memorialization to a recording. So Paul K. Stern did that. That's what happened. So they wouldn't record it. This is the report. Here's where we go. I'm going to start with it. The date it was made in the interview took place. If I tell you, if you and I have a conversation today for 40 minutes, right? And I ask you 13 months later, verbatim, tell me what I said. Could you?
No.
I don't think you could, right?
No.
So we had the meeting. 13 months later, this is the product.
Hey, Anthony, thank you. I appreciate the donations going to a good cause. I really appreciate that.
13 months later, they made this report as that 140-minute meeting, okay, on notes that I came in with. I came in with those notes, a recording that I asked for that they did not provide the recorder, okay? And here's what comes out of it. It's the first page. So let's go with the first page. It says that John Gotti Jr. and my attorneys, these attorneys' names, Jeff Littman and Mark Furnich came into a meeting, and it says the murder of Danny Silver. So that's where it starts. The whole report starts, the murder of Danny Silver. In the early morning hours of either March 11th or 12th, 1983, Gotti Jr., along with his friends, who were present. I'd rather leave their names out of the situation because these are civilian people. And remember, every name that's in here, there was at least 12 witnesses with DD5s, including several people here that were government cooperatives at the time. They were confidential informants that gave exactly who the players were that in that bar that night. So they knew exactly who the players were in that bar that night. So there was no secret. It was this different DD5s. I have them all. That DD5 is a state police report. I have them. It's 12 different ones, eyewitness accounts, and they wrote down everybody that was in that bar, okay? So, this says who's in the bar, okay? Were present at the Silver Fox Bar located on 101st Street and Liberty Avenue in Queens, New York. At some point, Tommy, last name unknown, okay, a.k.a. Elfie, approached Gotti Jr., who was seated. Elfie repeatedly bumped into him. Words were exchanged. One thing led to another, and Gotti Jr. ultimately hit Elfie with a broken glass bottle. Gotti Jr. then stabbed Elfie with a knife that Gotti Jr. had. Okay? Now, remember, in this whole report, multiple people were stabbed. I was stabbed twice that night. Okay? In my hand and my elbow, through my jacket, I was stabbed. Multiple people were stabbed. One guy died.
A lot of people forget. Do you guys remember 2013? Gotti Jr. is on Long Island. He got stabbed. Do you guys remember that? Not this situation. This allegedly happened a long, long time ago. But 2013, Gotti Jr. got stabbed on Long Island outside of a CVS. Got into an argument with someone. I'm sure he knows who that is. And he was stabbed. He went to the hospital. He drove himself to the hospital. And he was not cooperating with the police. Do you guys remember that? People don't talk about that one. Probably because nothing came about it, but I wonder who stabbed him.
In this whole report, I only put one knife in one person's hand. My own. Okay? Nobody else's. Okay? Nobody else's. I go on to say, okay, and Elfie that I said was stabbed, the FBI grabbed him, interviewed him, took his clothes off and everything. He was never stabbed. He was never stabbed. So they knew he was never stabbed. So even my information was even accurate because it was all over the place. So they tried to piece together my notes, and they made a mess of my notes. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. What I was telling them, I was doubling back and going all over the place. They didn't even know how to formulate this the right way. Okay, they were all over the place. He was never stabbed. Okay?
That was the goal, right? To confuse them and trick the government so they wouldn't prosecute you. Like, I thought that was his goal in the whole situation.
According to Gotti Jr., a melee ensued involving approximately 30 to 40 of the bar's patrons. Gotti Jr. recalled that among those involved in the fight and in fighting with Danny Silva were Angelo Castelli, Joe Curio. Now, here's where you're going to start having some problems now, right? Here's where the problem is. At the bar, in the beginning, in the first paragraph, it says I was at the bar with a girl named Donna. She doesn't exist. I said also at the bar was a guy named John Riley. He was involved in the fight. John Riley was the investigative detective that was investigating me for different crimes and all of us for crimes. I took the investigator and put him into the melee, put him into the fight, okay? Angelo Castelli, who was dead at the time of the fight. Joe Curio, who died 3 years before the fight. How could they be at the fight if they were dead? Joe Curio died 3 years before the fight. How could he be at the fight? How could he be there?
Who's writing this?
I'm dictating a story. They're shorthand writing a story. 13 months later, you memorialize a report.
So I want to know, was this his big tactic was this the big move to go talk to the government so they could write some fucking fraudulent report like that? And then you win and come out the hero? Was that the deal? Because he doesn't really answer the question, you know what I mean? He does, right? Anthony Casso?
You have dead people involved in a fight that would die. Joe Curio died in 1980. He was stabbed to death in a fight someplace else. This fight took place in 83. You have the investigating detective. I have him at the bar in the fight. People who don't exist were there. I mean, you see where I'm going with this? It was absurd. It was completely and totally absurd. They knew this. Later on, more memorializations on different pages, I talked about my arrest, my case. We had a case called the Oak Point Dump case. and there was a cooperator in the case. His name was John Joe Zagari, right? They put it down that I'm talking about a guy named Joe Zingari. I never met Joe Zingari in my life. I don't even know who the guy is. If I met him, I couldn't tell him from a can of paint.
Yeah, but so was this his whole scheme? Was to give him a bunch of information and then come up with some crazy story, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, and that was it? Is that what you get labeled a rat for the rest of your life? For that? That's crazy. I don't know about all that. What do you guys think? Do you think he made a fatal mistake by trying to trick the government and become an informant? Well, we'll call him a cooperator. Do you think he made a great mistake by becoming a cooperator, trying to trick the government? Now he's labeled a rat forever. To me, it seems like that really eats him up, that people think he's a rat. But I don't know. I want to know what you think. Put your thoughts in the comments and let me know what you think. Do you think John Gotti Jr. is a rat or not? And explain why you think that way. I really appreciate all of you guys for checking out the show. Tomorrow's a funny one. You don't want to miss it. If you like this show, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't like this show, too fucking bad. Start your own podcast. That's all, folks.
All new at 5, a major organized crime bust. 23 people under arrest now accused of stealing guns and cash.
Today, police revealed 4 organized crime groups are wreaking havoc.
From aggravated robbery to kidnapping, burglary, and more. Let's take a look at this. New pictures from court documents in this case. These are a few of the people who have been charged, and investigators say the money, tens of thousands of dollars, is all stolen